Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Today we're looking at making pockets from scrap paper. And I've been making pockets to fit little tea sachets for giving away in Happy Mail, and they're just slotting in there, but they could be for tags or tickets or something else, and they could be easily sat inside a journal to just be an extra pocket. So I'm using, the paper I'm using here is some tissue paper that I have used with a jelly print. So that has got, what's it called? The acrylic paint, which has been rolled onto it, and that was a spare bit, and not a particularly well, it is interesting, isn't it? So it's, I think, what everybody's calling fodder. So it's scrap fodder for collage fodder. I'll get there in the end. There we go. That's what that was, and I used it as a rolling off my paint roller. Brayer, my Brayer. Okay, so we're making pockets from the spare scrappy bits that didn't have a particularly interesting print on it, and certainly not what I was aiming for when I was making the project. So they were spare bits destined to become tea pockets. So that's what we're doing, guys. We're making tea pockets. Okay, so let's jump into this. I've got another tea bag sachet. This is chamomile, and we've got the tissue paper here, which has been covered. So this could be any paper that you have, any old scrap of wrapping paper, packaging paper, anything at all. And you just want to make sure that you've got enough that can wrap around the thing that you want to wrap up. So this, in this case, it's going to be a tea sachet. And that works out, that's just enough. And just allow enough so that it will slide in and out easily without getting caught, because I am using tissue paper, and these sachets that I've got here are plastic. I have got ones that are paper as well, but in these ones they are a little bit sharp and they can catch the edge of the tissue paper. So I'm just feeling where my end of the packet, well, hang on, if I take it out I'll be able to see, won't I? And then I won't have to be quite so, it won't be such a mystery. So I'm going to cut off that top there, the white bit, and so just below is where I want to have the tea bag sitting, and I'm going to come down to give myself enough to fold up to make a flap. So on the back of here I've torn it because it was a paper that lent itself to that, and I'm not cutting anything, but you could if you wanted a straight edge, that's fine, but I didn't. I wanted to stick with the principle of it being junk and go with a junky torn edge. So I'm going to tear around about that point there, which should give me enough to fold it back up on itself to make the bottom of the pocket. Okay, and there's another quite cool scrap to put into a page, and a nice summery colours as well. So let's deal with the top portion here and just cut off that white piece of tissue paper, and that's the bag there. It's going to have to go that way, which is cool because there wasn't enough in the length, so I've said that that's the bottom, that's the top, and I'm going to use this torn edge, which is a nicer than this bit here, so I'm going to fold that over and glue it down. So it's as simple as that. And we just want a paper glue, and I'm using Cosmic Shimmer. It's an acrylic glue which is designed for glitter. It's a glitter glue. Art glitter glue would be great. A wet glue, you could use anything, glue stick, anything. I'm just wanting a little bit of precision here because I want to make sure that my torn edge gets really firmly stuck down. So this is a really delicate piece of paper because it is a tissue paper, it's that thin, and that would look quite nice. So you can't even see it, it's that good. So we would then fold up that, making sure, I just want that tucked in there nicely. So that's roughly where I want to have that. I just need it straight. And to take the bulk out of it, I'm just going to open it up a bit, and I'm going to cut down here. Get the scissors in. Trying to make sure that you can see. Forgive my fingers on this task because I have got a little bit covered in paint and ink this morning. I haven't quite worked out how to... I'm not at that point in my junk journaling journey where I can have the manicured nails. It's just not going to work out like that. They would get ruined within half an hour. So leave a comment below if you understand where I'm coming from. I can't. I just can't. Nails, I ruin them instantly. I wish I had pretty nails, and it's just not been part of my world, I'm afraid. There we go. So we glue that down. It doesn't matter that that bit's folded because I'm dealing with a really thin paper, but if you were to deal with a thicker copy weight paper, photocopy paper, you may want to be able to cut that away a little bit neater, and also that would have been easier anyway because the weight of the paper wouldn't have moved around under the scissors. It would have stayed where it was supposed to. You would have cut it off, nice straight edge, and it'll come out better than mine. So that is the pocket. We'll just test that the tea bag sachet fits inside nicely. See what I mean? It gets caught because it's just so happens to be a plasticky. It's a little bit wonky, but that's cool. I'm going to take that out and I'm going to put in a little the divot there, the little rounded bit, using a hole punch. Now you could use a glue stick and draw round and then just cut the curve out. I strongly advise the purchasing of hole punches. So you could have a wider hole punch. Let's stick with what we've got there. And there's a little black mark there, which is quite good. I think I'm going to get rid of that with the punch. So you go halfway to make a semicircle and punch that out, and there you go. Many uses for a circle punch. So if you can get a collection of circle punches and you're into junk journaling, you will not go wrong. There are many uses, especially when it comes to making pockets. So we just pop this back in and see how that looks now. It's just peeking out the top, which is great because then that tells the person that there's something of interest in there. And you could put a business card, you could put a little note card, tickets. This is a bit big, but if it was in a journal, that would just sit in there nicely, wouldn't it, with the strings. And or a journaling card of some sort, bookmark, you know, anything. Obviously it's a pocket, so you can put things in it. Who'd have thought? But it's very simple to make them. And now I think I'm just wanting to embellish it, and I want a word, because this is happy mail, and this one I put moment, and I thought it's quite nice to take a moment for yourself, drink a herbal tea, chill out. And this is for happy mail. So I'm delving into the scrap tray here, and I've got this nice yellow down here, so I'm going to see whether I can find a bit of page. Now, I have been putting my scraps into some sort of a system here. So I've got my scripted ones, my vintage bits here. I've also got, I used a bit of sari silk there, which is nice. So I could go with some lace this time, and I might go for a darker paper. What did I use there? I've used a bit of dictionary. Perhaps I'll stick with the dictionary. As long as it doesn't say something horrible, because I've had a bit of a miserable few pages here where it was talking about just depressing things, words that weren't very pleasant. And I don't really want that. This is all relaxation, so I don't think it matters, because I'll probably cover it anyway. So let's just tear this bit, not overthink it too much, because you can see that is from an old book, and that's quite nice to have the old curve there. So that's the interesting bit rather than the text. It's in Spanish anyway, so it's not going to worry anyone, is it, really, if you're not fluent speaker in Spanish. I don't think it's anything awful. I can't even read the definition. Circumstances, maybe. Perhaps that is the Spanish side. Oh, pregnant. No, we don't want to talk about that. We're trying to chill out, have a cup of tea, not think about that. Okay, so I now need a word that's going to indicate having a moment, because I thought a moment to yourself, that was quite nice. I want a white colour here, not because they come in black. This is Tim Holtz Ideology, Big Chat. So we could go with dreams, but hopefully the tea's not going to send her off to her dreams. Although the lady who I'm sending this to does have trouble sleeping, which is why I wanted to give her a herbal tea, just to sort of unwind. Maybe time for yourself. Rest. How about that? Rest. Yes. We need to rest. If you can't sleep, doesn't matter, does it? But you still need to rest your body. So yeah, have a moment to yourself, have a nice cup of tea, and just unwind. Okay, so with that, I have embossed it with a distressed embossing glaze, and that one is antique linen. I use that, but I didn't think I was going to do that. I was going to use, as an alternative, I've got antique linen in ink form here, so I just need an ink blending tool, and I think I'll see what it looks like in ink, with the ink. I might want to put the vintage photo or something like a lighter brown, but I just sort of wanted to pick up on the yellow tones that we've got going on in the Gelli print. Oh, it's reacting with the paper in a strange way to age it even further. So let me stick that on the end there and see if this will show you what I mean. Can you see it's even come up with sort of age spots on there? Now I wonder if, because that is a Tim Holtz, both of those are Tim Holtz products, whether they are designed to interact with each other, because that would be extremely cool. Rest. I think that will be fine if I have some other pop of colour, and I think that's where I was going for with the sari silk. Just bringing a little element in there and then that on the top. But I think the edges aren't quite as dark, dark as I would like. So I could go in with a black or a brown. It's just, yeah, that's nice. The black just highlights those. The tool is falling to pieces. Again, don't judge me. It just seems to work. It gives a nice texture. Okay, I'll put that upside down. We'll move that. Let's glue this down where we think it's supposed to be. And really, that's all you do. Well, you could do all sorts, couldn't you? You could put a little cluster on there as well if you prefer. I mean, we could have something like this. Or something, well, it is a cluster. I'm making a cluster there, but if you've got pre-made clusters, you just add one of your pre-made clusters and it's simple. But I just wanted to show a different way to use the jelly print papers, because you do end up with quite a lot of stuff you're not going to then use for anything else, particularly if you were trying to achieve one certain thing and you've ended up with multiple papers. And although they don't take up much, I suppose you could get probably 4 out of an A4 jelly print size. So that's going to go there, and then we just want a bit of this. So don't use my, I might want a bit of lace, hang on. If anyone's doing a lace challenge, this is quite nice to add, you know, little bits of lace here. Or you could even have a tab off the end and then hang it off of your page. So although it's attached to your page, you could have a little tab. Couldn't you? You could really do something a bit more interesting so that that sits on your page. Just playing. Bear with me. Okay, so imagine this is your page. And then we add the tab to the side of it. Wouldn't necessarily have the tea bag in there, but could do. And you could embellish it with a bit of lace or another bit of stuff, whatever that is. There, a little cluster of. That's pretty, isn't it? Maybe we want that flower there. Do you see? Just as a extra bonus idea of how to cobble something together. Right, anyway, back to what I was doing, which was just sort of regurgitating what I've already got. Oh, that's a horrible word, isn't it? Regurgitating. That's not what I mean at all. Reproducing. There we are. Which I'm sure there's a Spanish word for here, if I look closely. Oh dear, right. Okay, now I just want this to behave. Let's take the tea bag out, so I'm dealing with a flatter. Just tidy up a second. clear the decks, clear the decks, clear your mind. Let's take that off and just see if we can get this to behave. Okay, so that's fine. So what I'm going to use is fabric glue. I'm using Fabri-Tac, and I think it is going to span out over that section there, and I want it to cover the edge of the it's a book page, but it's, what is it? What's it called? Dictionary. There we go. My brain is going off, firing in all several different directions. Okay, and then we're going to have this word rest. I would have liked that if I could have understood some of the text. There we go. I feel that's too spread out. It's more interesting when it's bunched in a less uniform way. Okay. That's better. See, the placement of that was much closer to the edge. Now I don't like it. It all wants to shift this way. So it may be even a nicer idea to make the cluster first, and then you can position it where you want. But I do feel like I need something else on the end there now. So perhaps the tab idea isn't... Oh, no, hang on. What's hiding in there? Oh, there we are. Let's have the lace. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Whoopsie. Now I've got to be so careful because the Fabri-Tac grabs it really quickly, and it's also, we're working on an acrylic paint surface here. Which means that it could pull up. And I just want that to... stick in there. Let's see. Better. Okay, so what else? Is that it? Something else down here? I mean, this was fine, but because it was shiny and it was a longer word, I think it was more popped out, whereas this didn't, and I don't like it now. I do prefer that shiny distressed embossing glaze. So I think I'm going to do that because it adds something, it really does. So I'm just going to use, I've got this embossing dabber. Now these are notoriously not brilliant, and what I don't want to do, in fact, yeah, I'm going to have to because I've stuck it down. What I don't want to do is get it on the page, the book page. I just want it on there. Okay, we can try and see if that works. Hang on, getting in a pickle with my pins for the glue. And then I'm going to just sprinkle a little on there, or rather a lot as it happens. And then just try and direct it back into the pot. I'm just going to tap this over the bin. I know you're not meant to flick, I tried not to, but I couldn't resist it. And I ended up with some on the piece of paper, which I'm trying to protect the tabletop here. And then I just need a heat tool, a heat gun, to melt the embossed area. I'm just going to hold that down. Okay, so it really has done very, very little to enhance that. And I think it's because of the dabbing tool. So back in the day, when I was getting very excited about the embossing, I did buy also the embossing pen. So for anybody just starting out on an embossing journey with the Distress range, I know a number of crafters don't find that this is very good. It was fine in the beginning, but I have taken it apart and there's a deposit of like gunge that seems to clog up the dabber, and then it doesn't flow through with the sticky paste. It's very odd, and I think it is got a glycerine base. I'm not sure, but now I'm going in with a pen. I can be a little bit more precise, and I'm just hoping that there's enough of the ink or whatever the sticky stuff is to cover the area. Let's hope so. So that's that. So I'm pouring that over there. Oh, that's so much better already. Now the pens, I believe, come in a pack of 2, and the success here you should be able to see a grain, like sand, grainy sort of coverage there of the embossing glaze. It's very fine powder, but the embossing pen did save the day on this occasion. And the best thing, and what I should have done and what I normally do, and this is what I would definitely recommend for all your embossing needs. Here we are. Is the Versamark watermark stamp pad. And excuse the mess on it. It obviously doesn't come as coloured as that. But you can stamp with your rubber stamps, and then the image is sticky for the embossing. So I would have pressed the little label into the pad, and that would have saturated a little bit more, so the embossing glaze picks up in a thick layer, because that's what I'm wanting. So I'm just going in here now with the heat tool. Okay, so let me just show you. Here we go. So the ink underneath is still visible. The glaze on the top has just given it a real vintage sheen, and everything has reacted and gone together nicely. And for the purpose of just delivering a tea bag to somebody in a happy mail, I think we've achieved something fun and interactive. And then that becomes a little pocket that they could quite easily stick into their journal afterwards, especially if you add a little note. So there we are. That's 2 pockets made using very similar things. This one had the added lace. I could put even more. You could go crazy. I mean, when do you stop? You stop when you feel like stopping, don't you? I'm going to put some bling on it. I'm going to put stick-on gems in gold. So I want one more. I think it's always nice to do things in an odd number. So let's have 3. It's a very rustly packet. That just adds a little bit of glamour, doesn't it? I think it wouldn't look quite so nice there because that one hasn't got lace. But now looking at it, there is a gap there, and oh dear, I have now thought I might need to add something from my teeny tiny scraps. Yes. You just can't leave it, can you? I can't. There we are. Oh, I think we've come to the end of the life of that pin in the glue. Well, I've had fun here, so I hope you've got an idea there for something to add to your happy mail, or if you're sending out gifts to people, a nice little idea for a friend for a birthday, and anyone feeling a bit under the weather, you know, make the pockets bigger, add a couple of tea bags, make them bigger and put some chocolate in them. Anybody who's feeling a bit down or a bit poorly, not feeling very well because of all the you know, the upset that we've had in the last few years, perhaps somebody's still recovering and they've, you know, they're just feeling low. I think things like this, it's taken me a bit of time, but it's given me the chance to unwind, and hopefully the act of somebody receiving something like this will do the same for them. So we're paying it forward. We're offering them a moment to themselves to rest. And that's really why I have created this channel, the Treasured Page, because I want to slow down and make time for myself, and I encourage you to do the same. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little idea here of putting the pockets together using the collage fodder, and it gives you another idea to add to your own journals and your repertoire of things that you can do with scraps of paper. And I hope that you have taken a moment to yourself and given your mind a rest as you've been able to craft along on a very, very simple craft, but with a big impact. Okay, so thank you guys, thanks for watching, and I will make some more videos for you. So if you'd like to leave a comment below to let me know how you think I'm getting on my junk journaling journey, and just if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be absolutely great. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, even better, and I can keep the channel going and we can explore more ideas. But above all else, guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.